This is the Elevate Construction Podcast, delivering remarkable content for workers, leaders, and companies in construction wanting to take their next step. Get ready to step out of your comfort zone with Jason Schroeder as he encourages you to do better, live a remarkable life, and expect more. Let's go.
Welcome to the Elevate Construction Podcast, where we help you manage the entire project as a whole. My name is Jason Schroeder, and today's shorter podcast for project managers is about going from good to great, and who has the ability to take that team to be great. And I want to start out by saying this. The distance from good to great is so big that few teams even dare to try. The distance is so great, it's so far from going from good to great that very few teams ever try to do it. So here's the principle. The distance from good to great, if I was like holding my arms out, I've got my left arm stretched out as far as it can go. I've got my right arm stretched out as far as it can go. Like it is a huge gap going from good to great. Now, going from bad to okay is like I'm holding up my thumb and my index finger on one hand. It's about 3 inches. Going from okay to mediocre, about 3 inches. Going from mediocre to decent, 3 inches. Going from decent to good, 3 inches. And then going from good to great, I got my arms out as wide as I can go. Left arm to right arm, I'm talking like at least 5 feet. Like the difference between the other increments of team development and excellence are so different that that's how I would describe it. Because it's really a simple thing for people to make incremental progress up that scale up to good. But it is insanely difficult to go from good to great because, as Jim Collins says, good is the enemy of great. People get stuck at good because it infects their minds. It's like dragon sickness. It's like a cancer. It's like a disease. It infects their minds. They're like, I'm pretty good. This project is running good. I'm doing a good job. And then people get stagnant. They get complacent. In fact, funny little story. I don't want to, maybe I shouldn't say this. No, I'm going to go ahead and say it. So sometimes I watch the show, The Good Place, and I really like it. And there's a point in the show where the 4 main characters eventually get to the good place, and everybody there is bored out of their minds, and they don't know how to fix it. They're just, they get dumber. They're not sharp anymore. They're not interested in things. They've done everything that there is to do in the universe. Now, this is obviously a little Netflix special, and it's just kind of a fun spin on heaven and all these other things. It's a really cute little show. But that's the same thing that happens. Once people are good in the good place, doing good things on a good project, in a good team, they stop progressing because it's good enough. They stagnate. They get dumber. And we have to stop that. But the reason that if I'm holding up my left hand to my right hand, they're going from good to great is this like 5-foot distance compared to these 3-inch distances in comparison. The reason it's so much different is because it takes absolute fanaticism and an unrelenting desire to be excellent and to continue to push through to newer levels to get to be great. And you need that kind of a leader. And most of the time people don't do that. I'm talking about Paul Akers' fanatical kind of great. Like Paul Akers, I don't know everything about his background. I love the man. He went and started to learn about lean and wrote the book 2 Second Lean. He really revamped his entire manufacturing process, bought a new facility. Then he figured out how to lean out his health. Then he figured out how to lean out travel. Then he figured out how to lean out his life. And now he's on to his next phase of life development and his journey, this like eternal journey of constant improvement. Any of us probably would have said, we have this multi-million-dollar business that's super lean. Let's stop there. But he didn't. He said, now let's do it to health. Now let's do it to travel. Now let's do it to all these other things. Would we have kept on going, or would we have sat back and said, we have arrived? That's why good is so dangerous. And I'm always worried when a team gets to be good because I don't want them to pause. That's why good is the enemy of great. It infects the project team like a disease. It's like a cancer. And in Jim Collins' book, Good to Great, he describes the flywheel, how companies make progress. And I would also say how teams, how departments, how companies make progress. He describes it like this. First, establish who and then what, meaning get the right people on the bus, the wrong people off, and get people in the right seats. and you have to have the right leader driving the bus. So what we're going to talk about today is having the right leader. And that leader needs to lead with the right kind of vision. And then the other podcasts that I'll do in these Thursday Project Manager series, these short series, is to say that eventually we need to confront the brutal facts. We need to, and that's called the Stockdale paradigm. And then we need to get our hedgehog concept. And then we need to create a culture of discipline. And then we need to include accelerators into our team as managers. But in this short little podcast, what I want to talk about is that as a company or a team, you first find who, then what, then you confront the brutal facts with the right kind of visionary leader. And then it's not until you get to your hedgehog concept and you get to the Stockdale paradox, the culture of discipline, till you get to, facing the brutal facts and your accelerators in your team or in your business, wherever you are, that's when you start to have a breakthrough and you start to make lots of progress. So we have to start with these phases of leaders. So Jim Collins talks about level 5 leadership. And he found a common characteristic of the great companies, and that was that each of these companies had a level 5 leader. So let me go through these levels, and I'm specifically talking about these with project managers because I think that you, especially on your project, have to become higher and higher level of leaders inside your teams, on your projects, in your company, in your departments, if you want to make the kind of progress that you want to make. And if you want to take your team from good to great. So let me take you through these levels. Level 1, highly capable individuals. These are people who make productive contributions through talent, knowledge, skills, and good working habits. The level 2 leader is a contributing team member. And these people contribute to the individual capabilities of the team and the achievement of group objectives, and they work effectively with others in group settings. The level 3 leader is the confident manager, and I'm assuming most of you project managers, most of you supers are probably at this level or higher. And so a competent manager organizes people and resources towards the effective and efficient pursuit of predetermined objectives. And the level 4 leader, this is where you step up and you're actually going to take people from good to great. The effective leader catalyzes, and please hear me on this, he or she catalyzes commitment to and a vigorous pursuit of a clear and compelling vision, stimulating higher performance standards. That means we're not just staying with the status quo. We're not just sticking with what we've always had. We're not just staying where we are and saying, yep, this team is good enough. I'm fine with where we are. The level 5 leader builds enduring greatness through a paradoxical blend of personal humility and professional will. Now, level 5 executives are typically on the executive level or the CEO or COO of the company. But, many of you could very well be a level 5 leader. These tend to be the more quiet, methodical, committed, dedicated people in the organization. But my point is, you need a level 4 leader that takes us to the next level, right? You need somebody who catalyzes commitment to and vigorous pursuit of clear and compelling visions and stimulates higher performance standards on a project team, because we always have to be ready for our next thing. And so the industry norm right now is that people will say, teams will say, I don't want more. The team tends to get stagnant. They're happy with good. They're happy with where they are. They're not ready for their next challenge. They don't want to do a lot of training. And this is really sad because we need better and better people in the industry to take leadership positions. And so my question is, are you ready to start your Paul Akers way of life? Are you ready to start your remarkable life where you take it all the way, where you go to Olympic levels of excellence? And the reason I say this is, and I'm not bragging, you guys have seen my YouTube videos, you've heard my podcast, you've heard a lot of things about some projects that I personally ran where we did absolutely amazing things. But design build was the norm. IPD was the norm. Building information modeling was the norm. Lean was the norm. Technology was the norm. All of these things were the norm. And so if you look at the average project where we're trying to get the basics of scheduling, and I'm not being critical. What I'm trying to say is that we need to progress and keep going. There's so much farther that we can go. What I'm saying is that most projects, we're trying to do the basics of team development. We're trying to do the basics of scheduling systems. We're trying to do the basics of operational control. And it's been a while with clients since I have actually been able to do some of the more advanced coaching and teaching, because we need people that are willing and wanting to go the next level. Now we have those. I have those clients, but it's not common everywhere. And so my challenge to the project managers listening to this and superintendents is, do you want to take your next step? Do you want to go from good to great? Just as a baseline, after doing lean training and design build training and integration training and all of these other things at the research laboratory, we had 8 months of remarkable pre-construction. We checked the models that the designers had to make sure that we had good, complete plans by the time we were done. We did really detailed constructability reviews on Bluebeam sessions that were dynamic and actually made a difference. We brought trade partners on early to educate the design and to design the details, so we had one integrated system design. And then we had our electricians prefabricate all of the underground and bring it out in pieces in a week. We had a remarkable field engineering program. We had everything prefabricated in spools. Everything interior inside the walls was coordinated and kitted in a kit of parts. We had custom-built bathrooms on that project. We had lunchrooms. Our craft and our team created over 160 lean videos on that project throughout as a part of the continuous improvement process. We presented it at LCI Congress because of some of the great things that we did. We toured people through the project on a weekly basis. We had misters at the hoist. We had a remarkable, beautiful office with a family picture wall with rolling boards for plantings. We had a huddle area that supported the last planter system. We had tact areas. We had the trade partners in there with us. Decorations, scented candles, music in the background, tall, lean desks. We had an entry area that was remarkable, very cool conference rooms. Like I said, you could just feel the holidays. We would have a masseuse come every Monday. Everybody who was on site had training stickers so you knew exactly what they were trained to do. We had remarkable orientations. We implemented tag planning. We had some of the most advanced geographical concrete planning systems. We had crab leg Thursday night dinners at the casino for the team to reward people and good teams and foremen for what they were doing. We had craft barbecues, craft surveys. We had healthy foods that were available inside the trailer. We had some of the best team meetings ever. We had fun with the owner. We went out and did team building events. We did offsites. We had delivery software that would actually schedule people's deliveries to the project site. We utilized the heck out of all of the technology systems that you can even think of. We had foremen out there using iPads looking at the model constantly. We had roadblock trackers on Bluebeam projects that everybody referenced. We had IPD light technologies throughout the entire projects, advanced teaming plannings with the customers, flight planning. I could just keep going on and on and on. And so when I think about the basics of those things, that you can go lead a remarkable project and do some crazy cool things, and that's just the beginning, but that most teams don't find the capacity right now to even do 10% of that. I think the problem is we're not shooting high enough and realizing that we need to go from good to great if we want to make the most money, if we want the most fulfillment, if we want the most success, the most happiness out of everything that we do. So let's not stagnate. Let's go. There's so much more that we can be doing out there in our industry. So PMs, is your team ready for their next project? Are they ready for the next project if it was design build? Are they ready for the next project if it was IPD? Could they do all of the teaming and early pre-construction items? Could they do pre-construction, early design pull planning? Could they run those systems? Could they run a $150 million job instead of a $60 million job? Are they ready for the next big project? Could they do a high rise? Are they ready for some of these things? Are they ready for a project in an active hospital? Could they do a data center? Could they run a project with a difficult owner or difficult neighbors? We need to practice like we want to play. And so my message is, and I'm sorry this went way longer than 5 minutes, but we need to go from good to great. And the way we do that is by taking that long journey of going from I'm happy, I'm in my comfort zone, to I'm going to have a fanatical attention to detail. And let me remind you, a level 4 leader, an effective leader, will catalyze commitment to and a vigorous pursuit of a clear and compelling vision for where the team can head, and stimulate higher performance standards consistently with a team, and get people out of their comfort zone, get people out of stagnation, and get people to their next level so we can advance on all fronts. And remember, practice like you want to play. Prepare like you want to fight. Remember, in war, Patton's soldiers, Patton's armies were always practicing and drilling. Are we doing that on our projects? Or are we, like that little cute Netflix series, The Good Place, getting to heaven and becoming bored and stagnant and ultimately dumber for staying in our comfortable just good environment when we could be excellent. The vision for this is that we all are more fulfilled and we live heaven on earth in everything that we do. And so the closing here, I would give you a challenge. And what will it take for you to go from good to great? And what are you going to do as your next step to do that, to train your team and to prepare your people? Reach out to me at jason@elevateconstructionist.com or on LinkedIn or on Facebook. We love feedback. If you want to do a podcast interview or if you have any clarification that you need, whatever you want, we get lots of feedback. We love it. Also, please, if you see our content out there on social media, please like it, please share it, please send this podcast to anyone who might need it. But until we meet again, are you willing to go from good to great? On we go.
Please join us next time in elevating the entire construction experience for workers, leaders, and companies coast to coast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to share with your construction colleagues and help us spread the word by rating, subscribing, and leaving a review on your preferred podcast listening platform. We really appreciate it. We'll catch you next time on the Elevate Construction Podcast.